Yo, what's going on today, guys? It's XO. Welcome back to the channel. I got another video for y'all today. I've titled it The Great Noticing. You know, the Great Noticing is a term coined from online political commentators referring mostly to the, the Jewish Israel genre of politics. Basically, Jews, religious Jews, and you know, Israel, pretty much. Now, the Great Noticing is really about young men's noticing of how Jewish exploitation of the American government, the genocide in Gaza, the things they've done throughout history in Europe and in America now, and the different points of view on that. So we're going to get into that today. If you guys don't mind, leave a comment, subscribe. That would really help me out. But let's get into it. So, my first point is we're going to talk about what entails the Great Noticing. The Great Noticing is the waking up, the almost kind of shared view of the Jews and the Israels by mostly young men, Gen Z men nowadays, the anti-Zionist revolution, pretty much. And I want to get into some of the exploitations that are a major cornerstone in this movement that I'm a part of. It's coined a lot by the Groypers, followers of Nick Fuentes. If you don't know who that is, look him up on Rumble. YouTube, he's everywhere. A lot of people know who he is. So the first thing is dancing Israelis. Dancing Israelis. Well. Dancing Israelis was a group of people during 9/11 when it happened who were caught on the rooftop of a New York City building as the second plane hit the tower, were videoing and dancing on top of the roof. People noticed it, and they called law enforcement. They were later arrested for it and deported back to Israel. But the thing is, they were linked to Mossad. Mossad is Israel's CIA. They're an underground deep state special forces, type organization, and they were Mossad agents, pretty much, to put it point blank. And it's sparked a lot of outrage and discussion about what were a group of Israeli Mossad agents doing on top of a building, videoing and dancing 9/11 almost before it even happened. They would have had to known it was going to happen if they were going to get up there. Our greatest ally and their supposed elite, their elitist organizations, employees are celebrating our downfall. That's insane. You can look it up, do your own research. But yeah, that's one of the points that Great Noticing. It's so bad. I mean, I got other points. The USS Liberty is the next one. The USS Liberty was an American naval vessel carrying civilians in I think 1966, I want to say, but I don't really know. The vessel was sunk, and I don't know how many people survived, but only a few. And eyewitness testimony says that Israeli planes and boats sunk their ship, like a boat flying an Israel flag and a plane sunk the ship. And yeah, pretty much. And these are eyewitness testimonies of this stuff happening. And it's like you see this, and these 2 points is almost enough to convince me, like, who the fuck are these people? If any other group did this type of shit to American culture, to America, dude, it would be outrageous. But because our government is so pro-Zionist, pro-Jew, pro-Israel, it doesn't even get the light of day. And if you say these things, it's like, conspiracy theorists. It's like, no, it's fact. Do your own research. Look it up for yourselves. Take this with a grain of salt and go research. I'm telling you, you will notice. You will be enlightened. Jewish interest practices during medieval Europe, interest was banned by the Catholic Church because they saw it as, exploitation of those down on their luck, of the poor people trying to get a better life and taking out an honest loan to improve the life of them and their families until they could pay it back. And Jewish interest practices price gouge and ruined a lot of people's lives through economics. And this is in their Torah. This is in Talmudic Judaism. This is how they are. And these are exploitative practices that I would compare with slavery, And it's insane. It's insane. I mean, the Talmud says Jesus is burning in boiling excrement, quote. Boiling excrement. Shit, pretty much. In hell. He's boiling shit in hell. Are you serious? These are our greatest allies? These are the Judeo-Christian values. These are the people we want to be associated with? American Christians who are majoritively white you want to be associated with Talmudic Jews? And people say, oh, well, not a lot of Jews follow the Talmud. Bull fucking shit. The Talmud is how they interpret the Torah. I'd say 99.9% of the 5 or 6 million Jews that are on this earth follow Talmudic Judaism. 93% maybe. The other 7%, you're not even a religious Jew, you're just an ethnic Jew. And when I say Jew, I'm talking about religious Jews who follow Talmudic Judaism, but also, ethnic Jews who are pro-Israel. You know what I mean? Even if they don't follow Talmudic Judaism. So, yeah. My next point is AIPAC. AIPAC is a organization that funds politicians. It's basically an Israel governmental alliance organization known for their loans and funding U.S. politicians and government interests. And you can look it up, trackaipac.com, and look at all your congressmen, all the people in the government. 98% of them are getting thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands, and in some cases millions of dollars from this Israel fund, pretty much. And that they're pushing a narrative, I'll give you this money to push this narrative. That's literally what is happening in our country. Do your own research. I'm telling you, do your own research. Israeli censorship. You can't criticize Israel. You can't criticize the Jews, or you're a Nazi. This type of rhetoric that was birthed out of World War II by leftist liberal communists, Democrats and communists are hand in hand. Socialists, they're all in there. Jewish communists in the USSR censoring people and throwing them in gulags for speaking out against a lot of things, but also speaking out against Jews, calling them Nazis and stuff. And in Canada, people are getting arrested for anti-Semitic speech. People in Britain, same thing. I don't think it's happening in America quite yet. No one's getting thrown in prison, but people are getting canceled. Their livelihoods are being ruined, which is defamation of character. That's a punishable offense. I'm 80% sure that's a felony. These are what these people are doing. In Revelation, it says that these people are of the synagogue of Satan. Look it up. If you're a Christian, go to Revelations. It says it. Read all of Revelations. I'm telling you, it's in there. The genocide in Gaza, unexcusable. We live in an age where we can shoot a fly from across the world, probably. And you're telling me that you have to level an entire city to kill people you don't like, when there's literally guided missiles that can go into a room, blow up the person in that room and not even hurt the surrounding apartments or anything. We have guided missile to air systems. We have, literally almost aimbot. Like, we have systems that are glasses. I mean, my father was in the Navy. He was at a weapons test site. He talks about these things he saw, no joke. He worked on these F-18s. He talked about stuff where they had helmets you would have a machine gun mounted on a chopper, and you could look, and the machine gun would look where you're looking, and you could shoot a guy in a crowd full of people that you wouldn't even know. They'd recognize them. There's no excuse for killing innocent people, innocent Gazan Palestinian people lining up to get food because they're literally being starved because these people won't let food and water into the area because they are so far gone and they serve Satan. Literally walk up, mow them down. The IDF mows them down. The IOF, the Israeli Offense Force, because that's what they are. They're oppressive. And I'm not free Palestine. If you're free Palestine, get the fuck off my channel. I don't want you here. We're not pro-Palestine. I don't like Muslims just as much as I don't like the Jews. But I love people. And no one deserves to get mowed down in cold blood for just wanting to eat and drink. That is wrong. In every sense. Holocaust victimization. I'm not a Holocaust denier. I'll say that. I do believe that it did happen or something along the lines of it happened. I do think people died in work camps and people were definitely killed, mowed down by the Nazis in cold blood. But this type of narrative that America sells, that the whole world sells almost, I don't believe. I don't believe 6 million. I don't believe, in the extent of it. I don't believe that the Nazis were inherently racist, that they hated all peoples. I don't believe that. And for the Jews to want royalty treatment for what they didn't even go through today, when 60 million Christians were massacred right after the Holocaust by communist leftist Jews in the USSR. You don't hear that. You don't hear Christians talking about that. Where's our money? Where's our victimization? So we're going to start going and massacring communists. We're going to go and start massacring Muslims because 60 million of us were massacred? No, then we'd be wrong. But Jews get to do it. That's a double standard and rhetoric that needs to stop. And yeah, that's all I got today. These are my thoughts. Do your own research. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't hate anybody. I love the Jews. I hope that they'll come back to Christ Jesus on the cross and his love and mercy and glory. But I do believe they're wrong, and I do believe they're evil, and I do believe they serve Satan. Talmudic Jews in, 90% of ethnic and religious Jews. I don't think that anybody deserves to be massacred or genocided, though. Anybody, even if I don't like them. So, yeah. God bless. Thank you guys for tuning in for another video. And America first, bitch.